Well, hello, Lisa. Are you there on the East Coast?
Yes, ma'am, Miss Sharon. I am here on the East Coast. And are you still on the West Coast?
Well, I am currently.
Okay. Well, we're both where we're supposed to be.
We are where we're supposed to be. And you have
Yes.
dropped in on Coast to Coast Beauty. I am Sharon Davis on the West Coast.
And I am Arletha Lisa Washington on the East Coast. Welcome.
And together we are
Coast to
Coast
Coast.
to Coast Beauty.
Yes.
What is our topic today, Lisa? How's your week been? First of all, I've had a great week.
I have had a super awesome week myself. It's been so productive. I've gotten so many things done. I've made some planning. Oh my goodness. I feel almost like Superwoman this week. I need a cape.
You
And a cape
you
on my
were Yeah, because last week you were out of town, right? You were in
chest.
Miami last week.
Yes, 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 yes. I did broadcast from Miami next week.
Wasn't
And,
that exciting?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
It wasn't that exciting.
Oh my goodness. If you haven't seen the pictures, yes, it was exciting. Go look at the pictures. So much fun. Um, I remember a while ago there used to be a song that says something about too much fun, and the song said there's some things there's no such thing as uh, a woman who's too tight, um, being too rich, and having too much fun. It's just no such thing. And at the
Being
time
too
I didn't.
thin, being too thin, being too rich, and having too much fun.
I know, and I
No?
didn't realize it at the time, but now I know exactly what they mean about a woman being too tight.
Oh.
Meaning she doesn't have any, she doesn't need any tightening creams. And she's just naturally toned. I get it now.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
that
no,
was the
there's no such thing.
wonderful thing about being an entrepreneur is that, especially with the laptop lifestyle, you
Mm.
can take your business and do whatever from wherever. So that's what's so exciting about it.
Hmm. And it is exciting. I have some coaching students, and one of my coaching students, we've been coaching week after week, and she's finally, she's trying to do some things on some mobile device, and I'm like, well, click on this and go here and do that, and she's like, I can't find it, it's not there, and finally, when I talked to her today, she was like, that's it. I'm going to get a laptop. She says, I'm tired of these mobile devices. They're great for some things, but when you're running a business, a laptop lifestyle is just it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A couple of the people that are, with our business, we have teams, and one of the ladies on my team, she came to that conclusion herself. Oh no. To keep up with you, lady, I need a laptop. Yeah, you might want to do that.
I want to do that, okay? Which is if you want to take it to the next level, which ties right into what we're going to talk about today, which is how to jumpstart your new year, how to jumpstart 2018. And now it's time to start doing that. You don't wait till January 1st. You're behind the eight ball. No.
Actually, it should have started with the beginning of this quarter.
Yes, it absolutely should have.
Some things that you would have wanted to kind of readjust maybe for your taxes and so forth, and you still can. I would advise, that's one of the top things I would advise you to do to jumpstart your 2018 is to consult a tax person immediately.
Yes, and you know it's so ironic. I saw my tax person on Facebook today, and made a comment on one of her posts, and I know she's getting ready to be just swamped, but um, she is so good. I highly recommend her in here in the Atlanta area. She is so good. But if you don't have a tax person, if you're sitting here thinking, where am I going to get my taxes done next year? Oh my goodness. It is time to catch up, run, don't walk, find you a really good tax person. And if you own a business, it's more critical than if you don't own a business. If you have a W-2, it's a little bit more freedom, to choose where you want to get your taxes at. But if you own a business, oh my God, it's critical. Yeah.
Yes, you need someone who is very astute to, particularly if your business is a home business as opposed to a brick and mortar business. If your business is online, you need someone who knows that process and that platform to be able to advise you on what you can deduct, what you can't deduct. I mean, I was like surprised when I was telling somebody about, making sure that they had utilized everything they can in terms of a home-based business. And I asked them, what's the square footage on their home? And they're like, what's that got to do with my taxes? I'm like, oh, really?
You don't know that?
You don't know that? Oh.
So if they don't know that right there tells you that the tax person that they're using, because we're not tax people, we're not supposed to know that unless somebody brings it to our attention. And so, the arenas are totally different. A brick and mortar business is totally different from a home-based business. A home-based business is totally different from a W-2, where you have an employer. And so if you have a mixture of those, you really have to have somebody who knows what they're doing. You really, really do.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
So that's, we just kind of by osmosis jump right into one of the things you need to be doing in order to get ready to jumpstart 2018 is to get your tax advisor in the pocket.
Get them in the pocket, have a consultation with them, and figure out if there's some things that you can adjust now that will benefit you. But that is the first step. As I said, I would have recommended that to have started beginning with the fourth quarter. But if you didn't, do it now. Don't wait till next week. Do it now, because you might be able to save yourself a lot of headache.
Yes, and I'm going to tell you, sometimes it comes down to a day. Something that's in place on December the 31st will make a world of difference if you try to put that in place on January 1st. So we cannot reiterate how critical this is to making sure that you get 2018 jumped off to a great start. Starting January with a tax mess is not something you want to do, and expecting your tax prepare to create miracles for you when you didn't plan for yourself is putting undue, weight on her or him or whoever you're dealing with. It is up to you to get some things taken care of right now. And I can't even imagine being a tax preparer and having people dump stuff in my lap over and over and over again and want me to create miracles when you didn't even bother. We spend more time on our social media liking friends, people, and doing selfies than we do looking at, okay, do I have my tax information together? So that was good. That's a good one to start with.
Yeah.
Okay, so
what would you say is the next one, Lisa?
Well, I will say this. It depends on if you have a business, then you would do some things a little different to jumpstart the new year than if you don't have if you're not an entrepreneur. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a brief overview in two categories, and then we can go back and hit some of the highlights. For instance, if you are a business owner, then you, by this time, absolutely need a business plan for next year. Not just the year plan, but broken down into quarters and then months. Okay. And then possibly even weeks. You need a date book for 2018. I've never gone into November without having my date book for the following year. So yes, I do have my 2018. You need to know that there are some networking events that you can go to in order, or your advertising and marketing things that you want to do for your business. And you also need to identify a coach or a mentor who can take you to the next level, because businesses don't grow by themselves. They grow on purpose. And so But if you don't own a business, then I know personally for me, I like to do some planning for personal goals. What do I want to do in my personal life? I have spiritual goals. I have financial goals. And so you still want to go into the year. Even if you don't own a business, if you go into the new year, you have no personal goals, no spiritual goals, no career goals, no financial goals. You're just floating through life and hoping for the best and whining about the worst. That is so not the way to do it. And hopefully after watching today's broadcast, you will see a way to do it a little better. So,
yeah, so definitely having your calendar in order, having your goals written down, because we both have heard this from from our company so many times, that a goal that's not written down is a wish.
A wish.
It's a wish. Okay, we can wish. They say you can wish in one hand, hope in the other, but it's not going to get you very far. So you need to have your goals clearly written down and have steps to meet those goals.
Yes.
Not just, okay, I'm going to increase my business. What does that mean?
Or I'm going to make more money. Even if you say, or I'm going to, I'm going to double my income next year. Okay. What are the plans for that? How much of that is going to happen in the first quarter? How much is, plans. And let me say this, plans very rarely go strictly to plan. Things very rarely go strictly to plan, but without a plan, they definitely go strictly to the bottom, or to the devil. My mom say plans that they go to the devil. But if you have some plans, they very rarely does life run on that track. But it's just like an airplane that goes from New York to LA. It's off track most of the time, but it makes small adjustment as it goes so that it lands at LAX. Once it leaves New York, it lands at LAX. And your plans are like that too. Once you got your plan on, December 31st, and when you wake up on December 31st of next year, more than likely, most of that year, they've been off a little bit, but you can make those subtle adjustments so that you end up where you want to be at the end of the year. But if you have none, I'm sorry. That's why people wake up, and New Year resolution is one of the biggest, all-time biggest jokes out there, because people make them, but they don't really make plans, realistic plans, in order to reach those things.
And I tend to make with goals and plans that I start at the beginning of the year. I give myself 6 weeks and then revisit them and look at what are the adjustments that need to be made. And I do, continue to do a six. Did I say 6 months? I meant 6 weeks. If I didn't say 6 weeks, that's what I meant.
You said 6.
I continue to do a 6-week evaluation of it all through the year, regardless of it's business, regardless of it's losing weight, regardless of it's spending more time with my husband, whatever it is, you have to look at, well, here's what I plan to do. Here's what has happened. Why didn't it happen? Or what didn't work and what did work is just as important to see how to proceed on the next 6 weeks.
Yes. And, you mentioned your husband, and I didn't mention earlier relationship goals. Whether you're in a relationship and you want to improve it, or whether you're not in a relationship and you would like to get into one. If you don't have a goal in order to achieve that, then it's still just a wish. Oh, I wish I had a boyfriend. I wish I had a girlfriend. Like you say, I wish in one hand, I hope in the other, and to see which one gets filled the fastest. That's what my mom used to say. Or you'll wake up, another one of her saying was, oh my goodness, that person is so full of wishes, coulda, shoulda. So you'll wake up on December 31st, 2018, and you'll be full of woulda, coulda, shoulda. I wish I had did this, I shoulda did that, and I coulda did that, but you didn't do any of it. So, yes, you do have to have those plans. And one of the things I mentioned was, if you have For instance, right now, I know I spent the last couple of weeks looking at who am I going to use for my coaching and my mentoring for 2018. And so every year I do that. I said, okay, who is going to be the one that watching me to make sure nothing falls through the crack for me? I watch my coaching students to make sure that, I can see the big picture and very little is falling through the crack. But by the same token, I need somebody watching mine. Well, you know what? Somebody asked me when I was, talking to a couple of which one to see which one would fit in with what I want to do next year. And I was saying, well, one of the things that I was telling this coach, well, one of the things I do is coaching. And she wanted to know, well, do you do business coaching or are you what you call a life coach? And so I immediately said, no, I'm not a life coach, even though sometimes my student try to be like one. And so she was impressed. The fact that you answered that question so fast told me a lot, because some people don't know the difference. Okay. And so if you have goals that are relationship goals and spiritual goals and financial goals, the personal goals, then you might need a life coach. But if you have business goals, then you need a business coach. Okay. Please don't get a life coach to try to teach you something about business.
Or at the very least, an accountability partner.
And that's what I usually call mentors, because most coaches are paid. Mentors can be, but more than likely they're like accountability partners, or people who are sharing a limited amount of information and guidance for you. But yes, accountability, and you can definitely won't hurt if you had both. I know me, I like to have an accountability partner, and I know Sharon, sometimes you and I serve as an accountability partner for each other a lot. And I think that has helped to grow our business relationship and our personal relationship. Right. Yes. And so be strategic about who you choose as your accountability partner. So, because do not become unevenly yoked. I'm sorry. If you get an accountability partner who is not near the same level, you don't have to have the same goals, but near the same level of growth and speed as you, it's going to be like hooking an anvil, a millstone around your neck and jumping into the deep blue sea. Oh, they're going to take you down to the bottom with them. You cannot drag them up, but they will pull you down. Mm-hmm. So don't just, if somebody asks you to be an accountability partner with them, you have to interview them. You have to ask them questions. What are your goals? What do you want to do? How fast do you want to do it? Do you have any ideas about what you want to do to accomplish that? But if your accountability partner is only there to get ideas from you, that is not accountability.
That's not partner.
That's not a partner. No, that is not a partner. You chose the correct word for that, Sharon. So for 2018, yes, you need your goals. You need some plans to go with those goals, and you need an accountability partner to go with it. And if you can afford it, and I shouldn't even say if, you need a coach, whichever one you can afford, because coaches come in, you can find a coach that doesn't have a lot of experience, that is very affordable. But as he gets more experience and get more accolades, then the price is going to go up. But you're going to also get more value as the price go up. So start somewhere. Okay. Don't try to hook it along. And I want to ask you this question. If you came into 2017 with some goals, and it's almost December now, and you have hit very few of those, I want you to ask yourself why. Did you have a coach? Did you have an accountability partner, a real one, not somebody who is looking to you for answers, but a real accountability partner? An accountability partner is a running partner. Okay. A running partner is not the person 5 miles back. a running partner,
side by side.
Okay, you might get a few steps ahead, and they might get a few steps ahead, but basically you're jockeying at about the same pace. And you got accountability partner, you way up there and they back there, it's something wrong. Or if they're way up there and you're back there, be brutally honest with yourself. That is not an accountability relationship. So you need to have one of those, and now's the time to start looking. And I know that if you start looking, you'll find the perfect person. They'll show up.
And I'd like to throw in that you need to schedule downtime for yourself,
Oh,
especially
that was on my list too. Yes. Go ahead. Talk about it. Talk about it.
especially if you are a entrepreneur, especially if you own your own business, especially if it is in your home, because it is, there's a big difference in locking the door, going down the hallway, getting in the elevator, getting in your car, driving away. Even if it's still on your mind, you still separate yourself from it. But as a home-based business, you tend to do things that are not healthy, such as getting up in the middle of the night working on a project for 3 or 4 days.
Guilty.
I mean, I'm not pointing any fingers because I have to point back at me either myself. But you do things that are not necessarily healthy for your body, mind, and spirit, and family
relationships.
Yeah. So you have to schedule time that is totally downtime, because you don't always have a clear distinction between what is downtime on a day-to-day basis. You should, and Lisa and I both would encourage you to do so. And we talked about the challenges that we've had when we haven't had that, and the challenges we have in maintaining that. But totally having clear vacation times, downtimes, days off, all of that. I mean, my husband will even put the note on my office door saying, "You're off today. Don't go in here." Remember I sent you that picture? He wrote it in, because I leave him little messages on the bathroom mirror in lipstick. We're kind of still newlywed, and 20 years later. But so he wrote in lipstick, "You're off. Don't go in here. Don't open this door," something like that. So you have to set limits on yourself and set times to take care of yourself, your relationships, and thereby making yourself more valuable to your business
and to your relationships and to everything.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you bought a vacation. Let me tell you something. I'm known for blaring my vacations across the social media platform, and I've had people say, "Oh my God, how can you afford all those vacations? And how can you afford to do that? And you must be making really good money if you do that." Well, let me just say that if you plan your vacation, my most recent vacation, okay, which, just a few days ago, I went on this vacation. That vacation was started. The vacation was planned in December of last year. So by the time January of this year came along, the first payment on that vacation was already made. Right. And so you plan it. Okay, so you can afford to go on a 10-day vacation if you plan it this December, put your down payment on it, and pay or put it in a way in the savings, depending on where you're going and what you're trying to do. And then you pay on a little bit in January, a little bit in February, and you keep it going so that by the time December 2018 come around, you're ready to go. It's done. You don't have to worry about it. It's, yes, we can afford to take vacations. What we haven't done is plan it. And, vacation packages come in all sizes and budgets. But the one that's not planned is the one that's not in your budget.
Right.
That's exactly how it works. So if vacation is one of the things that is on your list to do, you need to be planning it right now, because I'm sorry, if your anniversary is in August and you would like to go somewhere for your anniversary, or if it's any other holiday, and it should already be planned. You don't wait until July and say, "I want to go on vacation in August. I want to celebrate in August." That's just not how it's done. And I've had many wives say to me, "Oh, my husband and I can't do anything for our anniversary this year because we don't have any money." And the first thing I think is, okay, $5 a week starting on this anniversary, and you can have some money to celebrate next anniversary. Okay, now I know, health reasons and all that kind of thing can sometimes, limit what you can do. But that's something you can't control. Money is controllable to a certain extent if you plan it. So yes. So yeah, vacation goals are very important. Relationship goals, business goals, personal goals. Like you said, weight loss is a personal goal. So if you want to go to the gym, the gym memberships are going to spike January and February. By March, the gym is empty again.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't get a parking spot in the parking lot on January and February. You get inside, all the equipment is taken up, and then you just have to deal with it until March, and then it falls away. But it is, if you start planning now, if it's not a spur of the moment January thing, then it is more likely to be something that you will continue to do. All right. And,
Exactly.
savings, financial goals. January is a great time to start saving. Some banks, and I know all the credit unions have something called the holiday club or the Christmas club, and they are some kind of savings where you put the money in and you can't take it out until like November of the next year. And it's kind of like protected. You put it in, you can't run in there and spend it. So if you have a problem saving money, and you have a problem with the money in the regular savings because it's attached to your checking and it can just transfer, look for a savings club, because those savings club have some restrictions attached to them. And so that money is out of sight, out of touch, out of reach until it's time to get it. And you can set it up for whatever time you tell them that you want to be able to take the money out. For instance, if your anniversary is August, you don't want to wait till November to get it. So you tell them, I want to be able to take this money out in July. And now you've got a little protected arena there.
Yeah. Now, if you're not a business owner, though, and you work a 9 to 5 or 11 to 7 or 7 to 3, whatever, and you want to progress in your career, you have to plan to do that as well. And that means that you actually put yourself in a situation where you are making yourself more valuable on your job, so that you are able to make those promotions and so forth. I'll say this, that this is the year that I will be renewing my license. So of course, that's an extra added thing that you have to do. And along with that, I had to have taken CUs to be able to do that. So you don't want to wait till the last minute to meet those kinds of obligations. Yeah, that's no fun. Fun.
No. And I know I haven't always been an entrepreneur. I was in corporate America, and I remember going to the resource manager, HR manager, human resources manager, and talking about, what kind of positions are open above my pay grade? What are the requirements for getting that position? What would make me stand out from the crowd? And so, if most positions have a certain criteria that you need to meet, but then there has to be some kind of deal breaker. And I promise you that I once was told that when it came to a position, me and the next available person were neck and neck. We had the same score on our testing. Our job experience was the same. Everything was the same. And I actually had this person tell me, it was after I got the job, that what it came down to was the fact that I walked through the door with makeup on, looking professional, and, makeup. Back then it was pantyhose and heels with the toe in, and the other person did not look as professionally put together. And so this person who told me, she says, you look the image that they wanted to see sitting at the desk when the clients walk through the door. You're the first place they're going to see. They were way more on board with seeing you sitting there as the picture or the face of the franchise than the other person. And, it can come down to something as small as that. So that's why I said, not just what's written. Now, they would never put that on paper. It's not just what's written out on paper, but you have to have like a real conversation. Say, okay, what will give me the little edge? And then that's where life coaches come in also. That can tell you, yeah, sometimes it comes down to something as simple as, did you walk in there with your face made up? And if you're the kind of person who don't wear makeup and you're hardcore about that, then that's okay. Just understand that sometimes it does come down to that. Who stepped through the door looking more polished, more professional, especially if it's a public image where, someone's going to walk through the door and see you standing. You're the first desk they're gonna bump into. Sometimes it's corporate America. It's a part of it.
You have to dress as though you already have that position.
Yes, you do. So
goals for our children. Well, not so much now, but when your children are at home and young and so forth, you have to have goals for them. What are their academic goals? What are their social goals? What are their goals in spiritual goals, life goals for them? And you need to sit down with them and include them in making that and setting that plan, because what you're doing is teaching them what we just discussed. All of the things we just discussed, you're teaching them how to put that in order in their own lives as they get older.
Oh my goodness, that is so true. Just this morning, we only have one of the 5 sons still at home. He walked into my office and walked to my desk and he put down something in front of me. It was a picture. He's an artist. He likes to create art. And he creates stories to go with the art. And so I've been telling him, when are you going to start writing down these stories to go with the art? And so finally, a couple of months ago, he says, I'm going to start January 1st. So he came in this morning, he set a picture in front of me. And I said, that's great. I said, when are you starting those stories now? He's like, Mom, I told you January 1st. And so, but this is also the one of the things I did was I used to, and I'll confess, I did not do it this January, but every January when we would be coming back home from my in-laws home, we used to go every December and we would be coming back home. The end of December, the 1st January, we would be in the car working on our 101 bucket list. And so if you've never heard of it, it's, every year you start out by writing a list of 101 things that you would like to do before you die. It's the bucket list. And after a few years, I stopped calling it the bucket list and start calling it the life list, because I don't want to think about dying every time I look at my
like that term better.
Yeah, it's supposed to give me a warm, fuzzy feeling. It's not supposed to make me think, oh my goodness, I'm going to die before I get all these things done. But it was one of the things that we do. And my youngest son, the older ones are out of the house. I'm not sure if they still do it, but he and I still do it. We do our 101 life list of things we would like to do in our lifetime. And so, yes, teaching your children to do that. And ironically, when he went to private school, it was one of the things that the school it was one of their assignments over the holiday weekend. They had to come back in with their 101, but they called it a bucket list too, unfortunately. But they had to come back into the school in January with their 101 life list with them. And we did it in the car many times. If we didn't finish it on that 5-hour drive from here to Charleston, we would finish it, once we got home. But it was absolutely something we did. And if we like to, we could share it with each other and share some of the things off of there. So, a great habit. And if you got a young child, I wouldn't recommend doing 101, but don't limit them. If you say 5, they'll do 5, say 50 and see how close they get. Sometimes they'll surprise you. And with the age of smartphones, I'm telling you, they've seen some things on TV and on the phones and on the internet that they would love to do. And they just need somebody to tickle their brain to get those juices flying, and they will be they will get on board with it. I know for a fact that one of the things on Nick's bucket list or life list is he wants to go to Japan. That is way near the top of his life list, and so I wouldn't know that. I talked to him about the fact that to go to Japan you need to save, and so one thing might bounce right into another. So yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
that's the
that's
thing
the thing
about
about
the goals and making plans, is that that teaches kids to dream.
yes.
And dreaming is such a it's, you think that's an abstract kind of thought process, but they're finding that it ties into mathematics scores and science scores and of course reading and comprehension scores. So
Yeah.
being able to stretch that imagination muscle is
Mhm.
so imperative with our children.
It is, and it gives them a lesson in geography and world history and all kind of things, because if he see something like stand on the rock of Gibraltar, and he says, what is that? So I'm like, well, let's look it up. Or if I say I want to straddle the international timeline, dateline, and he says, what is that? And I'll say, what? Let's look it up. And so you can broaden your horizon, you can broaden your child's horizon, you bond that relationship. If you do it with your spouse or your significant other, it absolutely draws you closer when you discuss what's on your list and he discuss what's on his. And yes, for your children, I'm telling you, I can't even express how powerful this one thing is. If you didn't do anything else you heard us say today, start a life list with the people that you care about. It'll be amazing.
Well, I'm going to say one last thing, though, that I think I would like you to put on the top of the list is to get a complete physical.
Yes.
Wives, if your husband is not one of those guys that's going to do it, make the appointment for him. Take the little snippy remarks. Take the little, I'm not going to do it, but make the appointment for him and make time to go with them.
Yes.
Because the reason they don't want to go is they're scared. Okay. I mean,
okay. And if you don't go with them, it'll end up, something will happen that day. They won't go. An emergency will happen.
Yeah. So you have to set that example that it is important to you, that they are important to you, and set those appointments up, complete physical for them, for yourself, for your children. I include eyes and dental and all of that because, and hearing, because there's so many things that can be caught and dealt with when it's done on an early basis.
Yeah, and if insurance and money is a problem, find a free clinic somewhere. They're around. You might have to dig a little bit for them. You might have to wait. You might have to wait for an appointment, or you might have to go and sit and wait. But they are around. And once you put it on your list and start doing some research, you'll be surprised at all the resources out there that won't pop up at you. And ask around. Some people know some things you don't even know. Okay. I know my husband is a truck driver, and he became a truck driver because he was a welder for 13, 15 years, first 15 years of our marriage, about that time. And then, but the jobs kept going overseas. And so finally at one of the, he had his third job in like less than 18 months. He was on a third job after being on the same one for 15 years. And somebody came in to talk to them. And basically this person came in from the labor department and said, these jobs are not going to stay in America. They're going to, if the only welding jobs that are going to stay in America is like vehicles repair, building, buildings, and road construction. The rest of them, making machinery and small equipment and stuff like that, that's going away because it's just cheaper to outsource it. It's going to go to other countries. And so they gave them a list of the things that were projected to grow. And truck driving was one of on the list that were projected to grow into the foreseeable future. So that's how he chose that. But the thing is, because he had gotten downsized 3 times in 18 months, he could get his training for free. All right. So he went to the labor department, and the lady who helped him get into training, Miss Brittany, I will never forget this woman named Miss Brittany. All right. So she was the one who got him hooked up, and she checked on him, make sure he was good. After he graduated, she called back for over a year to make sure he was still happy with the job he had. This woman went above and beyond. And so I remember having a girlfriend whose husband was just struggling with finding a job. And I was like, let me see if this, I dug up that woman's phone number years later and called. And she wasn't at that number, but somebody knew who she was and gave me another number. I found her. This man, I gave him the information. This man she got him free training. And he went on to be a truck driver. He is still a truck driver today, years later. And then later on, a girlfriend of mine whose son had gotten into trouble with the law, and he was having a hard time finding a job because he had a criminal record. And so I told her about Miss Brittany, and I said, I don't know if he qualifies. I said, but let her go and see. Well, she put him into a program that would get him bonded and help him find a job, even with that record. And then recently, I sent another this woman has moved many times over the last 15 years. Now it's been 15 more years. And so the point is, there are resources out there you don't know about. Now, these people had gone to the labor department many times, but had not found this resource. But it wasn't about what they knew, it was who they knew, and they were able to get this. So I'm saying this to say, if you are looking for any kind of resources to help jumpstart your 2018, it might not be about what you know, but you have to open your mouth and let people know what you're looking for. And then I promise you, the resources you want are there. Everything that you are looking for is looking for you. Okay. Everything that you are looking for, you are seeking, is seeking you too. But you can't be a secret agent and be in the background thinking that somebody or something's going to read your mind. You have to put it out to the universe and watch how it come back in abundance. So I'm off my high horse now.
Well, I think actually we are at the end of another yet exciting, fun, humorous, insightful episode of Coast to Coast Beauty. And those of you that are not on when this first appears, please go ahead and leave us a hashtag replay. Let us know you were here. Drop us an emoji, a comment, or something. We appreciate each and every one of you. Lisa and I really are just amazed at some spikes we've been getting, and we're just thrilled to be of service. Really, that is what it is.
It is absolutely a thrill ride. We didn't know it was going to be this big of a thrill ride when we started, but you guys, oh my goodness, thank you so much. You are making this one incredible journey, and we are so appreciative. Thank you so much from the heart.
Yes, definitely. And it's not just the people that we know, it's people that we don't know who are just coming into our circle, and that's, that's the bonus part of it. So here we are. We are going to do our usual Sharon on the West Coast.
And Miss A-Lisa Washington on the East Coast.
And this is the end of Coast to Coast Beauty. Please share this out to someone that you know, like could use Miss Brittany or someone like Miss Brittany.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, definitely. So we will see you next week, and we'll post what our topic will be. And we will be kissing you out.